Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody here. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and I am so honored to have you all joining me today for today's Stampin' Chat Live. It's our lunchtime edition here in the Midwest, and I know we always get lots of people. Our European friends are tuning in at night, so it's great to see all of you. We are having a rainy couple of days here, but you know what? I prefer that over snow, so I'll take it because April showers bring May flowers, right? So welcome everyone. Today, I have a really fun technique to show you that I cannot take credit for. So I had a really stressful day yesterday, and I'm sure that you guys know what those kinds of days are like. And last night, I was just kind of, texting with my friends and saying, oh, I had, such a stressful day, and they were all being very supportive. And one of my friends texted me and said, what are you doing for your live tomorrow? And I said, I have no idea. And she said, well, I was thinking about you and maybe I can help. Maybe I can come up with an idea. And that friend was Kathy Racoosin. So Kathy, I just said, I'm too tired. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. I hope that I wake up inspired. So I went to bed. And when I woke up this morning, I had an email. Well, I had a text from Kathy that said, go check your email. I don't know if you like this idea, but I put something in your email. And she had done a step-by-step tutorial for me on this technique, and it's amazing. I loved it so much. So this video is dedicated to my friend Kathy Racoosin and to all of my friends, because friendship, that's what friendship is. People that are just willing to sacrifice a little bit of themselves. She stayed up late helping me because she knew I had a rough day. Well, I hope all of you are having a great day today. My day today is much better. We are going to be using stencils, blending brushes, some simple dye ink, and vellum. Now, prior to me seeing this technique, I didn't think vellum would dry as well on, with dye ink as it actually did, but she told me how she achieved it, so I'm going to tell you. So let me show you what stencils I'm going to use. Let me grab them here. I can't pick them up. Okay. So my first card, I'm going to use our Fizzy stencil, and I'm also going to use our Ornamental Fan stencil. And then if time permits, which I think I'm going to eke it out no matter what, I'm going to use our Sunspots stencil and our Sunshine stencil. So this is kind of a dual stencil technique, and I don't know if you've ever used two stencils together, but this is really fun and it looks really pretty. And then for dies, I'm going to use our Master Layouts 4. So I'm going to use this big scalloped frame. And of course, these are all optional. You can use whatever stencils you have for this technique or whatever dies you have if you want to do a similar technique to what I'm doing. I think I'll grab these little flag dies out of here. We'll see what fits. And then I'm going to use some of our, I'm going to use our single stitched ovals. I'm going to use the largest one. And I'm also going to use our single stitched rectangles, and I'm going to use the largest one. Now, if you don't have these, but you have ovals or rectangles, you don't need the stitching. So don't worry about that. We're only going to cut the shape out, and we're going to use the negative part of that. So the fact that it's stitched doesn't make a difference. I'm just using these because they're bigger. Now I'm going to put these aside so we know what we're going to use. And I'm also going to use some greetings today. I'm going to use the birthday and shadow and the forever and shadow dies that came in this Forever Flowers kit. So I know a lot of you have this kit, and we're going to use these word dies and probably some of the sentiments that are part of the Forever Flowers stamp set and the Lace Flowers stamp set. Alrighty. So with that in mind, let's get started. So I have just a plain piece of white cardstock. It's just a quarter sheet here. And I'm going to start with the Ornamental Fans. So to attach this, of course, you can use pixie spray if you want. I am actually just going to use a little bit of purple tape on the back of this. I don't have to worry because I'm going to cut this down. So if it doesn't cover the entire piece of cardstock, don't worry. And I'm just going to put a little purple tape back here. The word dies are not sold separately yet, Tina, but they will be once the kit is retired and we have a new kit. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little bit of sea glass ink, and I have my turquoise blending brush. And I'm going to lay down some color here. And I'm not worried about doing too much of a shade, but you know, it kind of shades naturally when you're doing a blending brush, because parts of those designs seem to grab the ink a little heavier than other parts. So they always kind of look a little shaded when you use a blending brush. And I love that. So you can see I'm just adding this color. I love this stencil. This was in a kit, but it's available now. The Ornamental Fan. Love that. They do look like fans. Okay, so I've got some nice color laid down here. You have a love-hate relationship with Vellum, Michelle. I hear you. Vellum is, it can be tricky, but I think you're gonna like this technique. Okay, so now I have that design on there, and you can see all the shading that's kind of going through that. So now we're going to take our second stencil, which is the Fizzy stencil, and we're going to use some purple. Somebody said to me that they liked it when I did a purple card because purple is such a, not a real loved color, that I don't use it enough, and they are right. So I'm going to use a little purple with this. So here I have a 1/4 sheet of vellum. This just measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this onto my stencil and flip it around. And I'm going to tack this down. Okay, so now I'm going to get my purple blending brush, and I'm going to use some of our Wild Lilac ink. You can also use Wild Wisteria for this, or any purple ink that you have. Or of course, you could change your color combinations up completely and do them your own way. Now I'm going to ink this up onto this vellum, and it's not going to look like much. In fact, the color doesn't really look that pretty, and it's because it's sitting over a piece of craft cardstock, and vellum is transparent, so you're actually getting a Wild Lilac craft mix, but we're not going to keep it that way. Alrighty. These are just fun, really easy cards to make, but it's just, you know, it's a lot of fun. So why not have some easy ideas once in a while, right? Everything doesn't have to be difficult to be fun. In fact, sometimes you're not in the mood for difficult, you're just in the mood for fun. All right, so let's take this off and see what we've got. Okay, so that looks pretty nice. And you can see if I put it up against a piece of white cardstock, how much more vibrant it looks. Okay, so I'm going to remove this purple tape. I'll use that for my next one. Now, the thing about dye ink is it doesn't dry super fast on vellum. So I'm going to use my heat tool, and I'm going to just lightly dry it. I don't want to overheat the vellum because I don't want the vellum to wrinkle or curl. So you can see, like, I'm pretty far out. I'm going to do it a little bit from the back, just to make sure it's not getting curled or wrinkled. And you know, because I've got my hand under here, so you know I'm not going too close or I'd be burning my hand right now. Okay. All right, so when I rub my finger over this, you can see it's all dry. Now, I never thought to heat set it before, and Kathy said, oh, you definitely have to heat set it. So that was really helpful to me. So now I'm going to trim this down, and let me show you first, before we trim this down, let me show you how I want to lay out this card. So I'm going to put this aside for a second, and I am going to die cut this frame right here. So let me get my die cutting machine. And I do want you guys to know Tom is here, and we have read your comments about wanting him to have a microphone, and I think I'm convincing him that he should have his own microphone. But can you say hi real loud, Tom?
Hello.
There you go. Now, Tom has to leave today early, so I'm going to be on my own, which is super scary for me, you know, because there's a lot of controls and buttons over there. I don't know what I'm doing, so you'll have to bear with me. But he's leaving early today because he's finally getting his first COVID shot, and I'm so excited about that because I had my first one already because I'm diabetic, but now they're opening it up to normal people, and I'm not normal. You're barely normal, Tom. Now you got in.
Barely.
Okay.
Can you make a t-shirt?
Barely normal. Maybe we should sell barely normal merch. Okay, so I have this down here. I know I'm off the screen a little bit, but I am going to cut this out using my Spellbinders Platinum machine. Ooh, okay. Yeah, normal. That's like, yeah. All right, I'm going to put this aside. We're going to use this other half. But now I have my beautiful scalloped rectangle here. Now I want to make a hole inside of that. So I'm going to use this large oval die, and I'm going to make a hole in the center so my image can peek through. Now, do I dare be brave and just try to cut it without taping it down? I think not. I think that I should use these little pieces of purple tape that I've used a couple times now. Now, if you are worried about the purple tape ripping your project, just put it on the inside because we're only keeping the outside. If we don't rip it, we can use the inside for another project.
We have vellum to sell, though.
We do not have vellum to sell yet, but we have it in the warehouse, Tom. We just need to get it all cut and get it online. Remember, we were going to do that, and then we had to move. So we are going to have vellum. And the vellum that I'm using today is the vellum that we are going to be selling because I really tested this stuff, and I love it. Okay.
Which die set scalloped rectangle from?
That's from Master Layouts 4. The scalloped rectangle is from Master Layouts 4. Now, I know that this is a little higher up on the top than the bottom, and that's okay. See how that just fell out? Now, we'll see. Did I ruin it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Just have to be gentle when you peel that off. Oh, yeah. But you know what I did do? I didn't think. I used purple tape that had dye ink on it, so it left a little bit of dye ink on my oval. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to throw this oval out. I will use it for something where I'm doing a floral design on top, and you won't even see that if I cover it with flowers and leaves. But I'm going to keep this for another project. All right, so now I have this perfect little frame. Okay, so I guess I'm going to just do this in stages. So I'll just be bringing the die cutting machine back and forth. Yes, I will notify you when the vellum is in stock. I will let you know in a video, I promise. Okay, so let's bring this back here so we can do a little playtime. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have this on the bottom, and then there's a right side of the vellum, which is the part that we inked on, and then there's the back side of the vellum, which is the part that we didn't ink on. And this is the side we're going to use for on top. And that's going to give it a real kind of, here's my word again, ethereal look. I love the word ethereal, even though I don't know what it means. It sounds like it should mean what I think it means. So it gives you kind of an ethereal look, a very, very soft, glowy, kind of magical look. But I think I'm going to pull the vellum up just a little bit. Maybe. We'll see how that looks. So if I made a frame like that, and then I put it on top, you would just lightly see that design coming through underneath. So I think I want to do that. Cheryl, we have lots of items coming in all the time. I can't tell you when something's going to come in because it's really up to our manufacturers. But everything that's out of stock has been ordered. And as soon as it comes in, if you are on the join the wait list, you will get a notification in your email and you can be the first to go and grab those products. So I'm cutting this down at 3 3/4 of an inch and 4 7/8 of an inch. I think that's going to make it behind here without it being seen. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm going to tape that down using some tape. And of course, I took my other tape back again to work, and I don't have it with me. So I'm going to be using this little ThermoWeb tape runner. Get some tape all around the perimeter here. This is such a fun little technique. Okay. And remember, we're going to put this on the soft side. So this is the dye ink side, the side we inked on. And I'm going to lay that right onto my piece of cardstock. So now we have this beautiful window. And now we're going to place that on top of this. Now I just want to raise it a little bit. So I'm not going to use thick foam tape. I'm going to use the Gina K Designs foam tape because it's very thin. And I just like that look. So again, I'm going to cut this down to about the same size, 3 3/4 of an inch by 4 3/4 of an inch. You could even cut it down a little smaller if you want, but let's not take any chances because we don't want it to be too shallow. So we're going to add some foam tape onto that. I'm going to have to nail it. I'm going to have to nail it right. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of foam tape here. Now, we don't have to do the foam tape all around the entire perimeter if we don't want to. So I'm just going to cut some pieces. And did you see I cleaned my gummy scissors finally? I actually did that this morning after talking about it for a year. That's how long it takes me to go into action. 1 year from the time I start talking about something. It's pretty good. All right. And I'm putting the foam tape here like this. And good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see all of you coming in from all over. We're going to do another one. So if you missed what I did and you joined us a little late, we're going to repeat the process on a different design. Oh, and thank you. Thank you. I did actually throw a coat of nail polish on right before I went on, which sounds crazy because nail polish takes a while to dry, but I use this stuff that's supposed to be like super fast drying. It's like Sally Hansen instant dry, and it really does dry pretty fast. Because it was like 20 minutes ago that I painted these. I know that's scary, right? All right, so I'm going to pull the little tabs off of here. Does anybody know what the tabs are called? Do they have an actual name, these things, the little protective tabs? The release paper, is that what it's called? I don't know. Pull the things off. That's what we're going to call it. We're pulling the things off. So welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a great week. Welcome to today's Stampin' Chat. We're having some fun with Vellum and Stencils. And once again, I will do my disclaimer and give full credit to my friend Kathy Racoosin, who stayed up pretty much all night doing a step-by-step tutorial because she was trying to help me because she knew that I had some stress yesterday and I just hadn't had time to even think about what technique I wanted to do. Okay, so you can see it's just lightly above. You know, this would have been a cute card for Easter, wouldn't it? Like an Easter egg. So remember that for next Easter. And you can see that it is raised just a little bit. I love that look. So let's put this onto a card base. And the card base color that I chose for this is the sea glass because I thought that that would be really pretty together. And we'll tape this right onto the card. We don't need much. And what's fun about this is I know in our last video we talked about masculine cards. Well, you can definitely use this for masculine cards, this technique, because you can pick whatever colors you want. So if you wanted to have different shades of grays and navies and browns, or maybe the guy in your life loves bright colors, you can do this and use stencils that are just geometric like this. And that is, that doesn't have any kind of, you know, masculine or feminine connotation. Okay, so we're going to leave it right there, and then we're going to add one of the greetings. So we can do the greetings more toward the end of today's video. So let me put this aside, because then we can cut the greetings out together. I'm going to put this one aside, And let's work on the second one. So again, I have a piece of cardstock here that's just a quarter sheet. It measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But you know what I think I'm going to do for this one? I think I'm going to cut it down ahead of time because this one, I definitely want to be able to center it. So it's easier for me to center it when it's cut to the right size than it is to try to cut it down to be centered. So my measurement was 4 3/4, right, by 3 3/4. I think that's the measurement that I used. I will double check that to make sure that that works with this. Yes, that does. Okay. See how fast I have the mind of a sieve. It just goes right out of my mind that fast. So I'm going to do a sunshine design here on this one. What was that? Somebody gave the definition of ethereal. Did you see that, Tom? It went by. Ethereal equals heavenly. Oh, that's exactly what I meant. Thank you. Ethereal equals heavenly. All right. So what I'm going to do here, my basic design is going to be to use the Sunspots stencil. This is the Sunspots. And then I'm going to use the sunshine over it. So we're going to have this kind of fun outward ray looking thing with both stencils. All right, so the guillotine cutter that I have and that I love is the We Are Memory Keepers one. It's this tiny one right here. I'll show you this one. And we do carry this in our store. We just got a ton of them in stock too, and they're really reasonably priced. Okay, so, and I like it because it matches my color. It's my aesthetic. Okay, so I think I lost my, oh, here they are. I'm going to use these same pieces of purple tape, getting my money's worth here of purple tape. So for my background color, I want my background color to be a little bit lighter than my foreground color. So I'm going to use Wild Dandelion for this. Oh, thank you, Monica. Yes, don't forget to like this video if you're watching on YouTube. That helps me so much. If you could give it a thumbs up. And also, if you never want to miss another video, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. And you will get a notification whenever I go live or whenever I post a video or post a YouTube short. Okay, so I'm going in with the Wild Dandelion here. So people have asked me, what's a YouTube short? So a YouTube short is very similar to an Instagram reel or a TikTok video. It's like a little video that's like about 60 seconds long that teaches you a technique really fast, in my case. And it's an upright video. So it's not horizontal the way the big videos are. It's shaped like your phone. And they show up on your phone on the app down near the bottom. Whenever somebody does a short, if you subscribe to them, the shorts will come up. Or if you like card making, mine might pop up. And they're really fast little videos. And they also show up on my channel. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Look at that nice, bright, vibrant yellow. Isn't that pretty? Love that color. Now I'm going to leave the purple tape right there. And I'm going to line this up where I want it. And I'm going to try to get that centered right there like that. Does it look pretty centered? It does. I just need to straighten it out. Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, it might not be, ooh, well, now it's not perfect. Okay. There we go. That's going to be close enough for jazz. All right. So now I'm going to use some Tangerine Twist release paper. Thank you, Andrea. The little tabs from the foam squares are release paper. I like that. I'm going to use it from now on. Whew, I'm sweating. Really working up a sweat today. Are you hot? No, you don't have to put the air on. I'm good. I'm good. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to use Tangerine Twist or do I want to use Sweet Mango? I think I'm going to use Sweet Mango, because it's a little bit of a lighter color, and I think that it's more likely that that Wild Dandelion is going to show through better. So I'm going to ink this up with some Sweet Mango.
Request for cowboy discussion.
Oh, a request for the cowboy discussion. Oh, for those of you that missed Monday night's video, make sure you watch it because I show you a really cool technique on how to use old books to create background paper. And one of the old books was a cowboy story. And it was a very sexy story. And I actually read a little bit of it. And I got a little distracted, to be 100% honest with you. Somebody's told me in my forum in the Gina K Designs Facebook group that I should read the story to you, Tom. And, and I said, I don't know that Tom's going to like that story. Maybe I'll get him a cowboy hat. I know you're not a cowboy. I know he's looking. You should see the way he's looking at me, and it's not in a good way. Oh my gosh!
I suppose I could be a cowboy.
Oh, yeah, Tom needs a microphone for sure. Okay, so this kind of looks weird right now, right? It looks a little weird. Let's add a little bit of tangerine down near the bottom to add a little bit more vibrancy right in here. And again, you know, you don't have exactly what it's going to look like because this is vellum. Is this vellum? This is not vellum. Tom, see, the cowboy distracted me. I did this all on the cardstock. Oh, all right. We're starting over. What time is it? Oh, we got plenty of time. Thank God I build in time for mistakes. Stop distracting me with the cowboy, people. Gosh. All right. Now I don't even know what side I'm supposed to use. All right. We're going to start this over again. I hope you're all laughing with me. People unsubscribing because I'm distracted by the cowboy. One more time. See, that actually does look pretty cool. That is a very cool look, but that is not at all what I was going for. All right, so I lost my purple tape in that process too. All right, we're starting over. No, I didn't cut this card. Oh, thank you. Thank you. See, people are watching me. I'm telling you what, I should just go out and start this whole live over again. Thank you. Yes, I have to cut this down first. Thank you. No fruit salad. People were accusing me of eating my fruit salad or drinking my fruit salad on Monday night's video with the cowboy story. Okay, so I cut this down to 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. Once again, hey, if you were late, you lucked out because I don't know what I'm doing today, so I have to redo it. So now I'm going to tape this down. And I had said I wanted to cut this down evenly first because this is a stencil design that you want to be even, and it's harder to cut it even than it is to just start evenly and line up the stencil properly.
Is that vellum?
This is not vellum. I am starting with the white cardstock, and I'm starting with the right one now. Cowboy's out of my mind. Not thinking about him anymore. All right. So once again, we are going to use, oh, I am beyond human. Well, I should say I'm beyond human. I don't even know if I'm human most times. I try to get up to human most days.
They're shouting that it's still vellum, or it's still not vellum.
Yeah, I know it's not vellum because the yellow is going to be the cardstock, and then the vellum is going to be the sunshine. Remember? So it's okay. Giddy up. No, you don't think so? If I do this wrong this time, I'm just...
Did I just roll credits now?
Yeah, just roll the credits now. Just go get your COVID shot, and I'll just sit here in the dark and finish this card all by myself. Okay. Alrighty, so this gets put aside. Remember last time I put it aside and I saved the purple tape? See, I should have recognized that I wasn't saving the purple tape. I do have a little tear back here, but that's all right. We'll just be gentle. And then we're going to put this aside. And now we're going to go back to this piece And we're going to use a piece of vellum for this. I think I got it. So now this is on its back because maybe not. You know what? Let's clean this stencil just so that I do it right. We'll clean this off with the tidy towel. I usually just rinse my stencils. I don't know how you guys clean your stencils. I usually just rinse them in the sink. It's pretty quick and easy, but if you're working on a stencil and you want to do, you know, multiple designs, you can just clean it with a tidy towel. Alrighty. So I'm going to, I think I probably should cut this down first as well. So I'm going to cut this down again to 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. And again, that's going to enable me to line it up. I am going to use this one to line it up because I want to make sure that it is lined up the same way, but I'm not going to stencil on there. I'm just going to line it up where I want it. Right about there. Looks good. And then I'm going to pick that vellum up with it lined up where I want it. Move that out of the way because we don't need that problem again. And I'll tape this down to the stencil. Okay, now I think we got it. I think we're on track. So can we talk about the cowboy again now? I'm on track.
What could go wrong?
No, we'll wait till Tom goes for his COVID shot and then we'll talk, okay? All right, so now I'm going to be using some sweet mango ink. Yeah, if you're having problems with buffering or freezing, that wouldn't be on our end. That's probably something to do with slow internet, maybe at lunchtime or something. So the replay will not have any of that. And what you can do is you can go out and come back in and see if that fixes the problem. Okay, so now I'm going to stencil all over this piece of vellum with sweet mango. I'm starting with sweet mango, and then I'm going to add the second color. I'm glad I saw this, that I was screwing it up. Well, how could I not? It was a pretty big screw up. Okay, I'm holding this stencil down just a little bit because there's a lot of open spaces in this, and it's easy to kind of grab onto one of them and pull the stencil or get that brush slipped underneath. So I'm just kind of holding things down a bit to keep it steady. And then we're going to go back in here and add a little more in the circle. Now I'm going to use my second color, which is the Tangerine Twist. Add a little bit of color in there, and I'm just going to go real close to the edge here. That gives it a little bit more of that glow closer to the where the sun would be.
Are both sides of the vellum the same?
Both sides of the vellum are the same. Yeah, you can use either side, doesn't matter. And I'm just working my way out on that. Okay, I think we got it. Now, let's see here. See how this looks. Ooh, this is pretty. Vellum is so gentle. It's just such a gentle, soft look. I really love the way it looks. So I'm going to gently peel these off. And then I'm going to lightly dry it with my heat tool. Now, if you want, you can also use a hair dryer for this if you're worried about it, you know, bending or getting too hot. Just go ahead and use a hair dryer. But I'm going to do both sides just to try to prevent wrinkling. Oh, somebody wants to know what the book was? Here's the book. Good old-fashioned cowboy. The book? Are we selling the book now? We should. I ended up using a thesaurus instead for my card because it was getting way too hot in my stamp room. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. And once again, you know, you can see that that ink is all dry. That was from the blending brush, not from this. Okay, so we can take a look at what this looks like. Remember, I'm using the ink side down to soften the whole look. And you can see those dots coming out from underneath. Bella, you melted your vellum. That was too close. All right. Yeah, Gina's book club. Oh, I love that idea. We can all read the books together. Yes, I love it. Okay, so I am going to need a second frame. So let me get another frame cut. And then while we have the machine out, we can also cut some of the words that we want to use. We're still going to need to move the machine around, but you know, it is what it is. Okay.
You almost know if you ruin your stamp pad by using a brush with different colors.
Well, what I do is, that's a great question. I'll repeat it in case you didn't hear it. Will you ruin your stamp pad by using your brush with different colors? I like to have a rainbow variety of brushes. So I like to have at least 8 brushes. This way I have one for reds, one for oranges, one for yellows. And then what I do with my brush is, these are plastic bristles. So I like to use a piece of scrap paper to get as much of the ink off as possible first. And then once I get a lot of the ink off, the bristles are still going to be stained, but I'll take my tidy towel and I will rub it lightly on my tidy towel to kind of clean the bristles. And then it doesn't transfer ink the same way. You know, it doesn't transfer the color, it doesn't ruin. But if I put this on my yellow ink pad, I could transfer a little bit of yellow onto my, or orange onto that yellow ink pad. So, you know, you kind of want to stay as close to the color that you're using with your brushes. You're never going to be disappointed by making the investment in a set of brushes, because you want to be able to use all the colors of the rainbow. And it is nice. I have mine set up here. I just put mine out of order, but let me show you. Tom, can you go to the front shot just so I can show them this a little easier? Okay, so here is the way mine is set up in our brush caddy. And you can see it goes all the way around. I bought this little spinny thing on Amazon so it can spin on the surface. And I have one brush for each color. And I put the color clips on there and I stick to that. You can definitely wash the brushes. If you wash the brushes though, please listen to this, because this is for any blending brush that you have. If you wash the brushes in lukewarm to cool water, not hot water, because this brush head on every brush out there is glued into the casing and hot water will loosen the glue. So you want to use lukewarm to cool water and a little bit of dish detergent or baby shampoo, preferably baby shampoo if you can, because it's not quite as sudsy. And then wash it and let it run clean in your sink. And then when you dry it, put it on paper towels upside down. This way, the water is not pooling to the back of the brush to loosen the glue, but it's rather pooling away from the back of the brush, and your brush will dry a lot faster that way. So that's how you clean your brushes. All right, back to the overhead. So I'm going to cut another one of these. You back to the overhead? I'm going to cut another one of these, and we're going to do another frame. I haven't given this frame enough love, and I love it so much. Mary said, I think Gina needs a vacation, perhaps a dude ranch. I love that comment. I think at some point we need to have like a comment of the day. Feature a comment. Okay, so now I'm going to use this single stitched rectangle. And I'm going to place that right in the center here. Now, our rectangles do not match this rectangle. So you're going to have a little bit more cut away from the sides than the top and the bottom, but that's okay. It doesn't make a difference. And I'd advise you to turn it this way, since this is the orientation that this card is going to be. And you want to try to make sure that you get this centered as nicely as possible. So we will, and you know, I'll tell you, rectangles are a little bit more tricky, because of course they are straight and you've got straight stitching here, where the ovals, you know, if they're not perfect, it's not as easy to see. So I definitely would recommend taping these down to where it looks straight to you and even. Okay, and I taped it on the inside, so I don't care what happens. If it tears the paper on the inside, that's all right. Your daughter used your blending brush as a makeup brush. Well, you know, I mean, they are pretty soft and they probably would make good makeup brushes too. Okay, so I cut that out. That's smart. I think she's smart, although she stole your blending brush, so that's not that nice. And I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to save this for another project. So I'll just put that aside. Okay, so let's cut out a couple of words before we go any further. So I'm going to cut out some black words for these cards. I'm going to cut out both the forever greeting and the birthday greeting. And I haven't decided if I want a shadow layer. I don't think I do this time. I think I'm just going to cut these out and use these plain. So I'm putting these more toward the edges. I don't have just one in the center. They always cut a little bit better on their back. So I have them blade side up, and I'm putting the piece of cardstock on top. See, that's sticking out a little bit, so I might have to get them a little closer. And we'll see how this cuts. My plates are bowed once again. I've tried all the techniques. I got to try the dishwasher technique. I think that one sounds like it's going to work the best, where you put your plates in the dishwasher and have them get washed. It'll clean them up and then heat dry, and that should unwarp them. So I'll try it first. I saw somebody today in our Facebook group say that they saw the advice and they tried it and it worked really well for them. So that's good. So I am poking out all of these. A couple little pieces left. Okay, so there's my birthday greeting. I am going to have to dot the I on this with an embellishment. And then forever. Maybe this one will just pull right out. These are very delicate. Ooh, that's pretty. I love this style. Isn't that just so pretty? I love it. All right. So I am going to do some greetings on some flags. So we will be bringing this little machine back again into the mix. But we'll put it aside for now while we figure out what greetings we're going to use. This is kind of like going to the fancy restaurant where they use the scraper thing, you know. I did that once. I went to a fancy restaurant once when they did that. I told this story before, but I'll tell you again because we have a lot of new friends here. But when Tom and I were really young, like way back when we first got married, we were, what were we, like 23 years old, Tom? We went to a very fancy place for dinner, and we didn't know anything about going to fancy restaurants. We were so naive. And the guy gave us our salads and bread, and then afterwards he came over, you know, with the little knife where he cleaned everything up and got it off the table. And then he brought us 2 little dishes of ice cream. And we were laughing. We're like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. This guy brought us our dessert. He brought us ice cream.
Screwed up.
Somebody screwed up. Right. So we called the guy over and we said, sir, we didn't even get our entrees yet, and you gave us our ice cream. And he laughed at us. Like, I think he thought he was laughing with us. He chuckled a little bit and he said, oh, no. That is sorbet to cleanse the palate. I didn't even know my palate needed cleansing. And Tom and I just looked at each other and said, oh, okay. And we ate the sorbet. It was quite lovely. And I guess it did make the dinner taste better, but what did we know, right? We were kids. Okay. So for the first card, I think the sunshine one will be a birthday card. So we'll make the blue and purple one a best friend card. So how about best friends forever, or forever in my heart? I really like that, forever in my heart. I have somebody I want to send a card to that I think this might be the perfect greeting. They're struggling a little bit, and I think they need to know that I'm thinking about them. So I will do that. All right, so I'm going to stamp in my heart right here, like that. You guys, they're laughing, right? They know we're silly, and I'm glad they're laughing. I always wonder when people are just not laughing, what they must be thinking. And then for the birthday one, we could do wishing you a happy birthday. Let's do that one. So I've said this before, but if you're new here and you ever struggle with your strip sentiment greetings getting curved or bent, the beauty of clear stamps is you can curve a greeting around something. But if you don't want it to curve, just place it face down on your work surface and it will take its natural shape. And then just pick it up using your block and it will not distort at all. It'll keep it nice and straight for you. So I'll stamp this one up here like that. Here we go. Oh, you thought liver pate was chocolate ice cream, Sheila? I could see that. I would have never known what liver pate was. I would have been really disappointed too. Waiting for that burst of sweet to hit that never comes. All right, so we're going to cut these out with some flag dies. That's funny. That's very funny. Sorbet to cleanse the palate. You know, I don't know. Maybe bread does that too. I have no idea. All I know is that we were just laughing at ourselves for being so naive. It made sense after he explained it, but it was kind of cute and fun and innocent. All right, so wishing you a happy, I think we're going to go with our biggest one, which is our biggest flag is in Master Layouts 4. It's the same one as that scalloped rectangle. And then I will get a couple more little pieces. I'll remember this time not to use the old ones because that's going to leave some ink. So we'll get that nice and straight. And then I think I'm going to use one of the flag dies from Master Layouts 3 for this small one because we don't need anything quite so big. So Master Layouts 3 is right here. All right, Tom, take care. Good luck.
Okay.
All right, let me know how it goes. Tom's leaving. That means I have to figure out how to turn the end screen. You got the end screen set up for me?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to use one of these flag dies for... I will behave myself. As soon as he's gone, we're talking about the cowboy. I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is from Master Layouts 3. So I've got one flag from Master Layouts 4 and one from Master Layouts 3, and I'm taping them down so I can cut them both at the same time. Alicia and Rena are both getting their COVID shots today, too. So I'm excited that my whole family, I guess I heard that you're 80% protected after the first one. That's pretty cool. So don't quote me on that, though. I can't remember where I heard it, and it could have been like TikTok or something. Could have been my neighbor. I don't know. Okay. So now I've got those two flags cut out, and my card is ready to be assembled. Now, I could have done those in black, and I think they would have looked a little bit better in black. You know what I'm saying? I think a black flag might have looked better with this, but we're going to stick with the white since the greeting itself is black, and I want to see how the contrast looks. Plus, I don't have my black border on these cards like I always usually do, so maybe a little less black for these cards this time. All right, so let's assemble this one the way we did the first one. The die cutting machine I use is the Spellbinders Platinum. So again, I'm going to use the ink side down for the softer look, and I'm going to attach this sunshine. It's almost like you're looking out a window. Isn't that fun? I love that. And then we're going to tape that down onto the back of this frame. So we'll tape the frame and not the vellum, just because it's a little bit easier to control the frame. And again, we want to tape it so that the softer side is facing out, the back side. And this is just in case, I mean, you know, every ink is different. I'm not 100% sure that every dye ink is going to react as well as ours does. So if you're using something else and any of it's going to rub off, at least it won't, because it will be tucked away behind the window. And then we're going to adhere this on top with a little bit of foam tape to just bring it out a bit. It does look pretty right on top, but I'm going with my plan here. Yeah, try the oven trick and see if that works for your plates. And if that doesn't work, try the dishwasher trick. People have lots of different tips and tricks for getting your plates. Although I did hear that somebody put it in their oven and forgot about it, and it was just a gooey mess. So don't forget about it. Don't leave. Don't leave the room or take a nap or something. Some people put a very, very low, setting on their oven and just let the plates unwarp that way. It's tricky. It's tricky, but I have tried all the tricks to not get the plates to warp, and they just don't work for me. I still warp my plates. All right, and I think that's just the nature of die cutting. You kind of just know it. Okay, so I'm pulling off all the release paper from these foam tape pieces, and this is the Gina K Designs foam tape. We did just get confirmation that we have a large order from ThermoWeb coming in, and I know a lot of you have been waiting for our tape runners to come back in, and our masking magic and our foam tape and all that stuff. So it's all coming back into stock very soon. They're pretty quick with shipping once it goes out of ThermoWeb, because they're just down the road from us in Chicago. All right, so I'm going to try to be real careful and nail this. Sorry if my head's in the way. I'm sure it is, but here we go. Ooh, that's pretty. See how it just makes that look softer behind there? I love it. And then I'm going to put this on a bright, vibrant, wild dandelion card base. So now Tom is not scrolling comments for me, so now I'm not seeing as many of your comments. It's making me sad. Maybe I'll go over and scroll up on them in a bit. Okay. And remember, you can always head over to our Facebook group. If you're on Facebook and you'd like to be part of our community over there, it's Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. Okay, so we could do this card either way, but let's do this card upright and this card horizontal. So we're going to make this one the birthday card, because that is just a fun, bright, vibrant birthday card. We also have in our collection the words sun and shine, and we have this cute little sunshine set that goes with it that you could, shine bright like a diamond. You're sensational. Let's see, never let anyone dull your shine. That would be very cute with this card too. But I think I'm going to put the birthday greeting right down here like that. And I'm going to put the little flag right up here. Wishing you a happy birthday. I'll put it up higher because I don't want it to block the whole sun thing there. So isn't that a cute layout? So that's what that one is going to look like. And then this one, we have forever, and we can do forever right across here like this. Forever in my heart. Yeah, I like the white, actually. I'm glad we went with the white. I think the black would have just been too much, and it would kind of take away from, the boldness of this fancy word. So you guys like those layouts for these cards? I think that they're fun. Let me scroll up. I'm going to just scroll up here and see if I can see more of your comments. New comments. There we go. Okay. Yes, okay. You guys like the layout. All right. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of Connect glue. I'm going to tape this down first. So, and it's nice because you don't have to be afraid of that vellum because it's not showing, it's not up. It's down facing toward the card. So that's safe. So we'll put that right there in the center. Wishing you a happy. Try to get it centered. That's good. Okay. And then we'll glue this down with some Connect glue. And then let's put the In My Heart down first. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to cut my nails and make them look good, because now I can't pick anything up. I used to be able to pick them up really nicely with my nails. Okay, I like the way these loops kind of go outside. Do you like that too? I think that's really cool. Okay. And get this in place. Forever in my heart has to be centered. That looks pretty good in my heart. Okay, now we'll use some Connect glue. And the way I like to use the Connect glue is I like to just put it on a piece of paper. Here I have some Post-it notes. I'll just use one of those. Because these are such skinny greetings, delicate, I like to squeeze Connect glue onto a spare piece of paper and then dip my finger into it and just pat the glue onto the back of the design. Now, it doesn't matter if it gets on the front because Connect glue goes on white, but it does dry clear. So you don't have to worry at all about, you know, it showing on the other side once it's all dry. So we'll get that in place. Wishing you a happy birthday. We'll get that tacked down. And then we could add a little dot for the eye, right on the eye there. Love that. Okay, I'm going to put that aside and we'll get forever done here. This is even a skinnier greeting. So I need some more Connect glue. Something totally different. Again, my gratitude to Kathy Racoosin for taking the time last night to play around with her supplies and to share this technique with me because it's a lot of fun. And, you know, as many stencils as we've all collected over the years, mixing and matching them together makes it even more fun. Okay. Put this down here. There we go. Can spread that out a bit. Forever in my heart. All right. So let me get my hands cleaned up and let's see what kind of embellishment should we use. I'm thinking the little black heart is really cute. We have these little black and white hearts at Gina K Designs, and that might be a cute little thing. We could even put it. I don't know that we need it. Do we really need a little dot over the eye? That is cute. The little heart. Yeah, let's do the little heart. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to flip it around anyway. And I'm going to get my jewel picker for this. Now, you could put a tiny rhinestone. Let me show you what else I have. And these aren't Gina K Designs, but you know, sometimes we have to bend the rules a little bit. I have these, and I don't even know if you would see this, but I just have some of these little rhinestones laying around. And if I popped one of those, I think I'll do that. And you guys, I mean, I'm sure if you're a crafter, you probably have drawers full of all different kinds of embellishments in your collection. So feel free to use whatever you want. A tiny sequin would work, but this is just a little self-adhesive rhinestone that I'm going to put right on the top there like that. And then I'm just going to press it down with my craft pick to make sure it sticks and stays. There we go. You can see that, how that looks. All right. So those are my 2 cards. I hope you guys like them. I hope that you like this little layout here. Let me get them more in the scene for you so you can see, and we'll zoom in just a little bit closer. There we go, my finished cards. Double stencils and stenciling on vellum. Fun, fun, fun. What a fun technique. All right, I'm going to switch the camera now, see if I can get the front shot. Woo! All right, got the front shot. Here I am. Okay, so I do have a quote for you. It's just a simple quote today. I love this idea, this sentiment so much, especially because so many of you join us in our Facebook group and here in our community on YouTube. You're all so supportive of me and so supportive of each other. And last night, you know, one of my very best friends was so supportive of me. There's just nothing like friends and people, you know, those people that just believe in you, right? If you go onto our Facebook group, Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends, please share your cards and you will get lots of encouragement over there. We all love to see what you make. The quote for today is, the only way to get better is to surround yourself with people who believe in you. And that's so true. So come and join us because we believe in you. I know you guys believe in me. I feel it and I love it. I'll be back on Monday night with another fun video. I'm just going to pick Kathy's brain and see if she can come up with another technique because this one rocked it out of the park. In the meantime, all of you stay safe, stay healthy. I love you all so very much, and I'll see you again real soon. Mwah. Bye-bye.